So there I was, my first time out, and there was a couple of us that particular night assigned to security. When I say a couple, I mean two, me and another guy. And over the course of the evening, from the time that it starts at 7 in the evening or so until like 1 in the morning, you're probably looking at a few hundred people that sort of cycle in and out of there. And it's not really like a real close thing where like a buddy cop, like I'm right with the other guy, like we're not in line of sight of each other. He's got an area and I've got an area. Well, lo and behold, the guy has a meltdown. The other security guy, he has a meltdown. He starts screaming at his wife. His wife's there with their kid. I mean, he just has this utter meltdown that I'm not even sure of the circumstances of it. It's just the strangest thing. So right from the start, it was a big eye opener that the people that you're working with in these evangelical pursuits aren't necessarily the rock to stand on. You know what I mean? Make a long story short, he had to be expelled from the park, and consequently banned from. It got bad enough he ended up being banned from the event. Now the park itself during the day is public property, and we don't necessarily have the right to inhibit people from being there then. But towards the evening, once the park is officially closed, it then becomes our responsibility. So anyway, that particular evening, the first time out, instead of being one of two guys controlling two different zones, I ended up there like, hey Ron, we just had to get so-and-so out of here. If you see him, do not confront him, just call the police. And try to keep people away from him. Like, yeah, that was something else. The rest of that particular evening was fairly uneventful. My job outside of that is to sort of make sure nobody's lurking in the shadows. There were kids at the event. There's a lot of stuff for kids going on around it, so I'd kind of keeping an eye out for possible predators and things like that. Like there's an actual predator list and stuff that we had, and that was a fairly uneventful night. And too much more about the behavior of other professing believers. That's the term I'll use, because it's only God that really knows what's in a person's heart. And it's only a person's actions that truly convey what's in their heart. All the dancing in the world that your tongue may do that makes a person feel good in the moment amounts to very little compared to what you physically do. But I would need to a point step carefully, because when you're doing stuff like evangelism and outreach, you see people tired, and they're not in their Sunday best, and they're not in their. You see them at the bitter end of how far their faith will go, and it can be heartbreaking to see that in people, and it can also be interesting why people's motivations and stuff like that. Some of the darndest people. There was this one time, to give you an idea how this worked, a guy took a break, so I filled in for him. It was something silly like, I think I was keeping the water full. It was like a mixing thing and then we were handing out drinks in little cups, right? As people walked up, little drinks of Gatorade, because it gets hot there. And this kid wanted to help, and I didn't have any trouble with it or anything, and so I let him, come on back here, man. Lend a hand, it's cool. And later on, the guy I'm working with, he's like, man, that kid is annoying. I can't stand him. I'm like, And I was thinking in my mind, like, wow, dude, it's just a child, man. You don't know. He's just having, he's doing his thing. I thought that was the most wonderful thing, that the child wanted to get back there and hand out drinks to people on a hot day, while we were doing this thing. And I saw something different than what this other guy saw. But I think in his case, like in the case of a lot of couples that are in church, you get one of either the man or the woman is very involved and very much spirit-led, and the other person sort of gets drug along. The Bible talks about that, about being equally yoked. And I'll tell you what, man, I've seen that played out, and the results demonstrated of that when it's different. And it's rough to see, and it's it's heartbreaking to see it in a person that you work with a lot. But too, that it could just be he was speaking his mind, and he's just tired, and I don't know. But hey, got a text message. Now, what that has to do with what we're talking about and my friend, Christianity and God, as it pertains to people who are very fast to help somebody out, or very fast to tell them about how their God is the solution to a person's troubles. Lights went out. I'm in the truck. The truck thought the battery was going dead. Let me see if I can turn this stuff back on. Bear with me. Anyway, but yet don't offer people that offer their God as well, all you need is Jesus in your heart, man. That's all you need. It's easy to say. It's real easy to say. But when a person has real troubles and real issues, and is living a real life, to bring an otherwise spiritually unaware person directly to an extremely spiritual experience, man, that's a pretty wild thing to do. And I think it's something that young Christians are very willing to, damn it. They're very willing to try to help a person out with, for one of two reasons that I'm willing to get into later if y'all are at all interested in it. But mostly they're excited and they found something really good and they want to share it. And you can't really blame them for that. It's a good thing. I mean, you think if a person ends up having a relationship with the creator of the universe, and they actually have a personal experience with the person who made everything, that's a pretty big deal, man. It's a real big deal. But two, there's things that are said in a person's zeal that almost can lead a person down the wrong path or further away. I mean, already you're talking about bringing a person to an experience that much of their life will never be the same again. Earlier today, I think it was Cranky Prepper asked Voluntary Anti-Statist about whether or not about Jesus being a pacifist or something, and Radical Ryan talked a little bit in depth about the Jesus turning the other cheek and what that meant. I would like to kind of take that in a different turn a little bit, and speak of the person of Jesus as in the Holy Spirit, which It is a consuming holy fire, that the only thing after going through that fire, the only thing that's left would be whatever else is holy. And that's a flame that not many people would make it through and still have anything left. I personally don't think I'm one of them. It gets into that a little bit in the Old Testament about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and the fiery furnace with what was that king's name? It escapes me, but that's an interesting story, man. I'll get to where this is going as it pertains to my friend, but I wanted to give y'all a little bit of background on me, and not necessarily my qualifications towards it, but some of the things I'm going to talk about with my friend on here, and it's been some things that I've been wanting to share for a while, and I wasn't really sure how to do it, and this has provided a pretty good context for it. So if you're at all interested in this sort of thing, stay tuned for the last 2 parts. It should be pretty good, and if anybody has any questions or anything like that, I'd be happy to answer them. Comments or video responses, all that good stuff. We'll see y'all later.